Let's begin with the big question. Why is this a good deal for Notre Dame?
Well, it's it's a good deal in Notre Dame for so many ways. First and foremost, because we view athletics in the broader context here, it's great for the university. We are affiliating with an extraordinary group of schools here: Duke, North Carolina, Virginia. Gotta be careful here, Georgia Tech. If I don't name them all, somebody will get mad. But so great, a great fit for us academically and culturally, and schools that we can partner with in a number of things. And so that first and foremost is the benefit. Secondly, competitively, it's going to be great for our teams. The basketball strength of that conference with Pitt and Syracuse joining, and then us with all the assets they already had. Best lacrosse conference in the country, best soccer conference in the country without question. So just a really good competitive environment for our kids. And of course, very importantly, it was incumbent on us to come up with a postseason football solution that was appropriate for our program and our teams. And in this post-BCS environment of the reformed BCS, we're going to have to do that with a conference partner. And this is a great partnership to do that. We will, we believe, help them enhance the quality of their bowl options. And of course, from our perspective, we'll participate fully in everything below their BCS bowls.
So with all the positives you have just delineated, which ones were the most important? Which ones drove this move for Notre Dame?
It's hard to separate them out. They're so interrelated. One may have driven you, but if you couldn't solve the others, if it didn't respond to those. So, a postseason solution that didn't fit the cultural and academic elements of the campus wouldn't have worked. And so one that had the first two but didn't provide good homes from our Olympic sports wouldn't work. So everything was a factor, and you can't pick one out. And the great thing about the ACC is it's delivered on all of them.
I know you guys loved your relationship with the Big East, but the Big East had changed. How about stability? Because it looks like the ACC now is going to be stable for a long time.
Yeah, we're really really excited about that. As the ACC announced today, they adopted last night at the same time they were voting on Notre Dame an exit fee, which is the most aggressive in college football, and reflected the confidence of those member institutions, all of whom agreed to it, that the conference was stable and was going to stay together. It was a great sign for us. We were really excited to see that.
Now, Notre Dame now will be in the mix for all of the non-BCS ACC bowls, which 7 of them, all of them are good bowls. They have a deal with the Orange Bowl. And I know there were discussions between Notre Dame and the Orange Bowl before this all came out. What is Notre Dame's status right now in terms of the Orange Bowl?
Well, we haven't revealed the details of that yet. As Commissioner Swarbrick alluded to today, we're going to share in an opportunity on the other side of the Orange Bowl with the Big Ten and the SEC, and we're finalizing those details. But it's a great position for us to be in. We have, if we finish in the top 4, we'll be in the semifinals. Below that, we've got an opportunity to play in another BCS bowl, either the Orange Bowl or one of the host bowls. And then below that, we'll have this, whatever the final mix of ACC bowls is, the non-BCS bowls. So I just feel great about that going forward.
What challenges do you face now with a commitment to play 5 ACC teams in football beginning in 2014 in terms of now putting out those schedules, putting together those schedules, because there's going to be some juggling and some changes?
Yeah, it will be. There'll be a lot of work in the weeks and months ahead to make that happen. Now, the good news is we already have a lot of ACC games slotted in our future schedules. There are 2 coming years where we had 4 games with ACC teams in each of those years. So you already have those building blocks in place. But it will require some other changes. The flip side of it is going forward in the out years, it's going to make my life a little bit easier, because I'll start with a group of 5 set games and schedule around those.
When you look at the athletic department as a whole, what impacts do you think it's going to have on all the other teams?
Well, I think it'll have a couple. One is we're going to have to raise our competitive game. almost without exception. You know, we're going into a better baseball conference, really good. Not that the Big East wasn't, but it's just better. And soccer and lacrosse and basketball and on down the line, tennis. And so we're going to have to raise our game. The related element of that is I think that's energizing. I think that's energizing for coaches. I think that's energizing for our student athletes. It's a new challenge. And that's the sense I get from talking to our coaches.
Notre Dame's always recruited nationally in all sports. What impact do you think this will have, though, on recruiting? Does it change recruiting at all? Does it give Notre Dame an inroad into places where maybe some sports didn't have one before?
You know, I'm not sure whether it will do that, but it can only help. It can't hurt because a lot of the things we've solved with this move, other people were trying to use against us in recruiting. You know, their future's uncertain. Who knows what conference they'll be in? They don't have the postseason options that you ought to be looking for, whatever it was. And so in a single transaction, I think we've gotten rid of all of those and re-cemented our national status. I can't emphasize enough that what this does in terms of our ability to get around the country. I mentioned in the press conference that in the next few years, we will play in 10 of the 11 largest metropolitan areas in the United States, every one but Houston. This is going to continue to make that happen. We'll be in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York. We were in Washington, D.C. You know, the list goes on. Miami, Atlanta. That's what we want, and this is going to help enable that.
People always wonder, is there a financial component? Because that's part of college athletics today, and to provide a great student-athlete experience for 26 sports requires dollars. But in this case, was there any financial motivation?
No, it's, you know, it appears neutral to us, maybe a slight benefit, but there's so many assumptions in that calculation. So, for example, you make assumptions about what bowls you'd be in, or how many teams will get in the NCAA basketball tournament. But if you look at reasonable recent history, it suggests to you this is pretty darn neutral.
Is it an overstatement to suggest that right now, from a football perspective, Notre Dame really does have the best of both worlds? You have many, if not most, of the benefits of being in a conference, but you get to remain independent.
Well, I don't. I'm very happy with this result. I think it's good for the ACC and good for Notre Dame. It's, you know, that's what makes it a great deal. It's not just good for Notre Dame. I think it will make. I know it will make the ACC football properties more valuable. I know that it will give them a better bowl mix, and conversely, we get the bowl access. We get to go into some great cities and play some great teams, and we keep our independence. So, from both parties' perspective, it's hard to imagine how it could be better.